ScouterStan. Want to talk a lot about board of review. Now, if you're a Cub leader, please do not turn off this video, okay? Please, if anyone needs board of review advice, it would be people who are not involved in it so that you get to know more about it. Eventually, when you go from Cub Scouts into a troop, boards of review become big, so don't miss it. Now, when you look at the data, now I'm going to put the guide down there in the description. When you look at that PDF, the guide on advancement, and it's talking about board of reviews, it quite literally says that a board of review must be convened when it's asked for. What that means is that adults can't postpone it. It must be convened. Now, when we say board of review, this is not an inquisition or a trial, okay? A board of review literally means we are going to review the requirements for advancement. Now, a board of review might also be held for other things. Now, this is a lot. Now, I'm going to put a video. I'm going to put it up there, okay? Don't go to it now. Go to it at the end. But that video will talk about the Scoutmasters Conference. That's something that Scoutmasters do for issues. That's something they could do often. A board of review could be, say for instance, there was a problem out at a camp with a scout, okay? That could be a board of review, finding out more. They're going to review what actually happened and what they're going to be doing. But most, 99% of them that are out there are for rank advancement. Now, board of review, people that have never been on one, they don't realize a board of review is not a retesting of scout skills. You're not going to be able to hand them a rope and tell them to tie a specific knot. That's not what a board of review should be about. It should be to talk to the scout, to really get to know if the scout is getting the scout program. It is your opportunity to really discover what's going on within the unit so that you can actually help the adult leaders provide what the youth need. Now, on the board, there should be a unit advancement person, usually from the committee. So somebody that you want there, they can report back to the unit's committee meeting and tell them what is going on in that board of review. In addition to that, 2 to 5 more can be added, no more than 6. That's actually policy. The guide will tell you about that. In addition to that, no parents, no relatives, no scoutmasters should be on the board of review. This is something to keep them out of the influencing any of the answers or coaching or any of that stuff. We want the scout to talk for themselves. Now, I'm going to put the guide down below. In that guide, they talk about having the board of review not rigidly structured, rehearsed, okay, unrehearsed if anything, very casual. This seems to help the youth kind of arrive at new and more innovative answers to questions. Spontaneous answers will help you derive some of the characteristics that are being developed by the youth. It'll also help highlight citizenship that's actually being developed. Keeping the questions relevant and live help the youth come up with better answers. So that's important. We don't really want it planned out, okay, or practiced. That's not going to get you the true and honest answers. Now, boards of review are actually required for rank advancement. They have to successfully pass a board of review. The first segment is what I call scout skills. That is your tenderfoot, your scout, tenderfoot, second class, first class. Those are your scout skill parts that you need to really know if the scout skills are sinking in. And it's not just did they learn the knot. They need to know why. That's what you want to derive at. You want to find out why. Why did they need to know that knot? That's something that the Board of Review does specifically. The last three rank advancements, Star, Life, and Eagle, those ranks, the questions kind of change from the Scout skills to more leadership skills. That's where those rank advancement, that's where that comes from. Now, we're going to talk about the Eagle Board of Review. I would say the structure is a little bit different. You still need the unit's advancement person in that board of review. A lot of times there will be people from the committee. There could be people from the community that may not even be in scouting, could be part of an Eagle Board of Review. Also, you have your district advancement person in there to kind of represent the district council. So that's kind of the structure of an Eagle Board of Review. In fact, it is very advanced, and I'm gonna put a link up there. Don't go to it now. Do it at the end. But that particular video is actually part 3 of part. It's a part 2 of part 3. I mean, it is. The Eagle Board of Review is the absolute top of boards of reviews. So keep that in mind. Now, whenever possible, the boards of review should be done in person. I know that with COVID and with pandemic scouting going on worldwide, we're trapped within the confines of video. So keeping that in mind, that is doable, but you have to follow the guidelines. There are actual guidelines written way before the pandemic. Check that guide out. It will actually define all of the requirements for doing a non-in-person board of review. Now, also keep in mind that if you're going to be doing an Eagle board of review through video conferencing, through Zoom, or any of the services that are out there, that has to be approved. You have to have approval before you have the actual board of review. Now, I know that contradicts the very first part that I talked about, where a board of review must be convened. Yes, but keep in mind it has to be approved. Okay, that is a requirement. It actually is listed in the requirements. You have to pass your Scoutmasters Conference. You have to pass your board of review. These are actually in there. So when you get to that point, yes, you really shouldn't delay. As much as possible, you want to do it as fast as possible. What you want to do is do it right. Critical when we're talking about a board of review for a rank advancement. Super important. Now, here's another thing. Boards of review are best if you keep them to 15 to 30 minutes with the scout. You can have a discussion before and you can have a discussion after, but with the scout in the room in front of the board of review, please expedite your questions quickly. Okay. Now, we don't want the scout to answer questions with yes or no's. Okay, that's not good. We want the scout to elaborate a lot on the answers. Regardless, after the scout leaves, it is important that the board understands that it's a board of review, okay? That's it. Once they've reviewed and come to a unanimous decision, that's the end of the board, okay? It doesn't continue on forever. It is, the scout is brought back and told of the results. Now, there are 2 cases where there could be a problem. Say, for instance, it's postponed. It is quite possible, and this has been known to happen, that something happens during the board of review. Power goes out, there's a tornado, an earthquake, there's all kinds of things. So there's reasons for a postponement. And then if there's a disagreement, you can't come to a unanimous decision, that's another reason to have a postponement using the same people that are on the board of review to reconvene the next day or shortly after. Okay, as soon as the earthquake is over and nobody's hurt. Okay. That's a reason to postpone and then come back and finish the board review. Now, in the absolute rare cases where a lot of questions have come up and there's problems and there's going to be a decline on this, it is critical that you write a letter about it. It has to be in writing. Check the guide. It'll tell you how to do it. When you're disputing a board review or having a problem with it, you have to submit this to council. So that is the last condition. It's either approved, postponed, or declined. That's rare. I'll tell you right now, it's rare for a decline. But it does happen, and there's a process. So again, go to the guide. It'll tell you specifically what to do. I like doing boards of review. It gets me out there and I actually talk to the youth. And what's wonderful about a board of review is that it really puts a spotlight not on the youth, on the leadership. That's what I like about it. I like seeing leaders going out there and dedicating their time to the benefit of Scouts, to our future leaders of this fine, wonderful country. We need them. We need you as adult leaders to keep up that good work. And I tell you what, we are changing the world. We are creating the future's leaders, one Scout at a time. And the board review makes it all come together into one wonderful thing. So keep that up. And until next time, I will see you on the trail.